Hello and welcome back to the Sleeping Dragons podcast. I'm Dylan here with Tucker.
Hello.
All right. So, today's fancy dancy episode is going to be our first solo review ish thing, and we're going to, just kind of test the water, see how it goes. Hopefully, it works well. We're praying. So, today's episode, we're going to be talking about Foxhole, a game that I've mentioned quite a few times in the How We're Doings. Speaking of the How We're Doings, yes, we're gonna do a How You're Doing right now. I'm gonna let you kick us off,
All right.
please.
So it's pretty much the same as last time. I'm still playing Frostpunk. A lot of Frostpunk. I finished the Fall of Winter Home scenario, so I'm now moving on to the next one, which I can't remember the name of it. It's one of the DLC ones. I just can't remember the name of it. Um, but yeah, still working on that. Playing Helldivers, playing other games.
How much do you have
That's
left
pretty
on
much
that?
it. I've got I'm pretty close. The last two scenarios have like 13 achievements each. But they're like a lot of easy ones. So honestly, not too much more. I've kind of just got those two scenarios, and I've a couple I've got to do in endless mode. And once I do those, I'm finished. So it's gonna be a bit, but I am having fun with the
Yeah.
game.
Okay. Not super bad then.
Yeah.
Um, I've been chilling. I've still been playing Foxhole. Always have been. Always am. In fact, funny enough, though, since we're talking about Foxhole, the war ended approximately 20-ish minutes ago, which is crazy because well, I will be
Yeah.
talking about how long they are and how long they can last. Just depends.
I mean, yeah. It didn't look anywhere done to me.
No, it didn't. But we just put okay. Before I get into it, actually, do I haven't have anything else to say on the how I'm doing because all I've been playing is Foxhole.
I mean, you're playing Cyberpunk as well.
Oh right, I am. I forgot. I am replaying Cyberpunk. I am basically near the end of Cyberpunk again. I'm just going through it, having fun, enjoying time, doing a bunch of side quests. I want to get the hidden ending with Johnny, but I'm gonna hope that works out well.
Yeah.
I believe. What is it? After the next episode, it'll be the Cyberpunk review.
Yep.
Should be. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
that's what
that's
we
our
have
plans.
listed out right now.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm gonna get us started into Foxhole.
Yeah.
Um, so let me explain this game the best I can. Think it's like a cooperative sandbox, but it's like an MMO because it's massively online, like massively multiplayer. There's so many players in this game because when you get in, it's just one server. Well, two servers now, but Charlie's like the disappointing child that you never wanted. And Abel Shard is like the actual server that everyone loves. Um, so basically, it's just this one massive server with all these players on it, in a perpetual war, which is themed kind of like World War II ish.
Yeah, it's
Like
got kind
somewhere,
of a wide margin to it.
yeah, it's got a wide margin of stuff in it, but most of the vibes you'll see in that are World War II. So I'm gonna okay. So the thing that makes this game so great is that everything in this game, no matter what it is, from the railway tracks, from the trains, from every single bullet to every bandage to every little bunker base, is made by players. So everything in this game is built by players. So you're on the front lines. You grab a kit. You grab a gun. You grab a bayonet. You grab some ammo and a bandage, and you go out and you go start shooting people or going to fight on the front lines. Every single thing you grabbed, even you spawning, was made from other players in the back lines that are doing logi, which is just short for logistics, which is what I think makes this game so special. The
Yeah.
fact that this game has such a wide variety of anything you want to do. So you can go in and say, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to go fight on the front lines? Do I want to be a medic, help some people out? Or do I want to be infantry? Or, hey, there's a lot of enemy tanks on the front lines. Why don't I grab some anti-tank stuff and try and fight back against this tank? From even saying, hey, I actually kind of want to run a tank myself. So then you go and build one, you stock it up with ammo, you get a crew for it, then you drive it to the front lines and, have some fun, take out some enemies, or even get taken out immediately.
Yeah, that is
all
very possible.
Yeah. Or you can just randomly get in and go, hey, you know what? I want to go do logistics. And then, you run on to the back lines and you start doing logistics. You grab some salvage, you refine it, you turn that salvage into guns maybe, or shirts, or bandages. Whatever you feel like making, really. So I'm gonna try and explain how this game makes it work on a one giant server, because it's not just one giant server. So the map is what's just called a shard, or you can call it the map or whatever. There's two shards, Abel and Charlie. They're similar, but they have different wars at different times. People typically play on Abel because it's just the better server, the one that's been there the longest. It's where all these big regiments are sorted. Regiments are kind of like clans. I'll go into that a little bit deeper later. But yeah, so basically you're on this giant shard. So the war will basically start, and then you'll have random conditions of which colonial or wardens have what sides of the map. And then not what sides, because they have their set sides, but they kind of change how the front lines are and where they are and who has what. So
if you want to go into what the wardens and colonials are.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain the servers first, then I'll go and explain Yeah. So in this giant shard, so the war starts, and then it'll decide how many hexes which side has, which they'll have even amounts of hexes. So basically the shard is broken up into a bunch of hexes. I'm not quite sure how many, but it's a pretty big number of them.
There's a lot.
And each hex is its own server. And you transition between them by driving to the border, pressing a button, and if you're in a vehicle with others, you'll all just go to that server together in that vehicle with the same stuff, and then you're there. There's also a world chat type of thing, so it really just makes it feel like you're in just this one giant world. But they do it well, so it feels really well. Really good. The wars, I'm going to say how long they typically last so you can get a reference to what I'm saying. Wars can last really anywhere between, typically I want to say the average war will last about 25-ish days to 30 days. So some of the longer wars, the longest one we've had, I'm pretty sure, I don't think it was War 117, but it was one of the longer ones, and it was something 45 days long, and that's actual days long. The war that just ended, I'm pretty sure was almost 20 days, 22-ish days long, I believe. Which isn't bad. Ended a little short, sadly, I feel like, but, is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and explain the colonial and warden faction sides. So the colonials are how do I explain them? It's not insulting them, calling them green goblins.
The wrong side.
The wrong side of the war. You can't play as the colonial goblins. No. Okay. I don't know the lore, because there's a weird amount of lore to this game, but the colonials are basically the green men. I'm pretty sure they're I really don't know the lore.
I don't know much. Yeah. I played the game once.
Yeah, I don't know. The colonials, I don't know how to explain them, but they kind of feel like a dictatorship I almost not really, not really. No, that's I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but their tank styles feel more like Western. Like their tank styles remind you of more like American tanks or European, and then the Warden tanks kind of remind you more of like Russian like tanks. Maybe that's just me reading into it, but that's what it feels like. Don't count me on that, and please don't get mad at me. That's just what
Yeah.
it feels like. But so both sides, Colonials and Wardens, have their own set like vehicles and tanks, and even the ships are different on both sides. They do different things. They have different weapons on them, and then all the tanks have these different stats and when they unlock them and whatever. Which
Mm-hmm.
I think is like one of the cooler things because it's not like, well, hey, they're using this tank. Why don't we grab the same tank to counter them, because you're not gonna have it. So
Yeah.
you have to figure out which tank is gonna counter what and like how to do that type of battle. It's
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool because it adds a little bit more of like a realistic kind of thing to it. Because like even in like you look at World War I, World War II ish, the tanks are like vastly different. They're not like insanely different, but they are very different from each other. So I think it's cool having the tanks be different from each faction. Um, but even like with other stuff, like I don't know, are the weapons any different as well? Like infantry
yes,
weapons, whatnot.
yes. The infantry weapons are all different. Even the tripod weapons, the melee weapons are different. The
Hmm,
outfits are different.
cool.
Everything's different. Yeah. The only things that are similar are the some of the more basic vehicles, like a flatbed is the same model on both sides, along with a CV, which is a construction vehicle, and then a few of the logistics ships, the logi ships are the same,
Yeah.
and that should be about it, I believe, for similarities between the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm talking about tanks because that's what I mainly do in the regiment I'm in. Actually, I'm gonna talk about regiments real quick. Why not? So
Yeah, we're already there.
you, yeah, you get into the game, and then you'll see people with a little regiment tag before their name. It could be anything from like if you're on the Warden side, some of the more popular names you're gonna see are 82 DK, Fears, or even um, a lot of the other ones. Like there's Telephone, there's H Ward. Basically, they're just these big ass clans with all these players, and it's really organized. Is why I like it so much. It is just so organized that I don't know. It's just really cool because they'll organize these ops. Like they'll almost every regiment has their own Discord server, and then they'll go, okay, everyone at this time we're gonna try and do a naval landing. So I need everybody, some people to be on. We're gonna run a battleship or whatever, and then we're gonna get a bunch of landing ships, and we're gonna try and see how this is gonna go. Or other things just from having like a facility in the back lines that you guys made that you're starting to make shells at, like artillery shells, and then pumping out shit tons of artillery shells so you can shell enemy defenses. I don't know. It's just super cool how the organization works in it. So the regiment I'm in, I'm not gonna say their name. I know our podcast isn't popular, but if it somehow does get popular, I don't want you know.
Yeah, you don't want to flood one thing for no reason, essentially.
Yeah, basically. But lovely people. I love them all. They're pretty chill people to work with. I'm not gonna say a smaller. I'd say a mid-sized regiment. We're not a massive regiment where we have over hundreds of players.
Yeah, it
We
didn't seem
have
like a
probably
huge like number.
no. We have like about maybe 70 players in the regiment, but active players are maybe like 5 or 10.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot, but it's comfortable. It works nice. I like it. Um,
Yeah,
it's
and I mean
organized.
that gives you more room to be a part of some things too. Because if you get in those like really big ones, it might just be like they go to their go-tos instead of trying to get like some of those newer players out there. Have them learning. Or just like getting
Yeah,
everyone a
or
part of it, giving people a chance to be a part of it.
yeah, yeah. That's one of the big problems in this game is new players. So if any of you guys are like, "Hey, this sounds cool," and you get the game, you're gonna be like, "Okay, I'm in. I'm lost. I just, I saw basic training signs and I went and did that. I don't know what to do now. I'm assuming this is a front line. I'm gonna go here and try and fight." And then, sure, you'll probably be chilling on the front lines, or if you're trying to hmm,
Yeah, like if you're trying to figure out where you're supposed to be, I feel like that's pretty difficult because I would have no clue if you didn't bring me there. Even finding the front line, I was looking at the wrong side of the map the whole time. Like,
yeah,
like
it's
I
it's
had no clue.
yeah, it's hard to know where you're supposed to go. Like if you're gonna do like more frontline infantry fighting when you get in, which is pretty much what I'd suggest to get like the basis of the game. But if you're trying to learn Logi, I'm gonna probably go over a little bit of the basics of it, anyways. But YouTube videos are super helpful. Or my biggest suggestion I can give is find a good regiment that is willing to teach you the game. Because I don't think you understand. So many people will teach you the game if you just let them. Like, there's this dude I know. I think he's part of. I don't know him, but he's part of FMAT. I think his name is Fish, and I see him in the world chat every once in a while. He'll put a message out there teaching new players whatever they want to know, whether it's artillery, logistics, anything naval or frontline, medic. And he does it. He does it. I know he does it. I've seen him on the front lines of people before. It's a super cool thing.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, really, anybody's, willing to teach you pretty much anything. Just ask something, and there's like a 90% chance they're going to help you and then eventually try and recruit you to their regiment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Am I saying this because I've done it before?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe.
Even with my very short experience with it, people seem to be pretty nice as well. Because, like, even I shot a dude on accident. And although, like, he was kind of mad at first because obviously I shot him, he was on our side. But he was pretty understanding. It's like, oh, hey, I'm new, essentially.
Yeah, he was getting a little bit, like, well, why the hell did you shoot me? Until I said it was an accident. It was an accident. Calm down.
Yeah. But I mean, everyone who's not gonna be pissed. You're on your front lines. A teammate shoots you. That's annoying. That's bound to happen. But the dude was understanding about it. He was pretty chill.
Yeah, a lot of the chat in this game are so pretty much everybody will talk in local chat is the thing. Like 90% of the player base, if I had to put it on a solid number on my deathbed, I'd say 65 to 75% of the game has a mic and will talk in local chat, which
is a lot.
Is crazy considering most other games.
Mm-hmm.
Like in general, there's a lot that will talk on this game.
Telling you,
and which is
if Hell Let Loose had that game would be so much more fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I just love this game so much. Everybody's talkative. They're all nice, helpful. You ask something like, how do I do this? Or how does this do? And they'll help you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great.
Another thing with the communication, since we're on it, I don't know how often that happens, but it happened once while we were playing, where it's like people will see something that they don't want to see in the chat, and they just spam the chat with the I don't know what do you call that. I don't actually know what you call that sign.
It's the weird smiley face. It's the
fuck is
colon
the 2 dots
called?
Colon?
Oh yeah, the colon and the 3.
Yeah.
You guys probably understand what we're saying. But basically, if anything happens in the chat, like just today, I saw people talking in the chat about about politics and who won this, who won that. And then, this country stinks or whatever, and then somebody just puts the colon and then the 3 and goes check, and then the entire world chat will just flush them out with that, because everybody will type that message, and it flushes whatever they're trying to say out.
Yeah.
So they can't get their conversation across, which is beautiful.
Yeah, I
love it so much.
That's awesome. So communication, from my experience, is a very important thing in this game. if you do play it, I recommend having a mic. Especially if you
Yes.
don't know where you're going, because you're gonna need it.
Yeah. I have a mic or at least have a way to listen to what the other players are saying
Hmm.
is a big thing.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people recognize, okay, you don't have a mic because you can still type in local chat. So
that's
they'll
true.
go, okay, well, you don't have a mic, but I can still talk to you. So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I mean, if you can't hear anybody else, and you're not talking, and you're in the way, it's kind of annoying. Um,
Yeah.
Also, people will be like asking you for something, like, "Hey, can you come back so I can heal you?" or like stuff like that. "Hey, can you move this tank out of the way? We need to go through." It's
Or,
just
yeah, if
nice
you're
to have.
in a tank, infantry will go, hey, we need you to target this. Or if you're in a tank, which I've found the most often situation because I run tanks a lot, and I run a lot of them with the regiment commander. Um, and he always is screaming at infantry to push because every time we push with a tank, they don't push up with us. And tanking in this game isn't like every other game you've seen it. Like it's its own thing because it's not like Battlefield where you get in, you go in, you're ramping off of a hill and shooting somebody or you know like this quick paced battle. It's a lot more patience you need and knowing what to do and skill and understanding, hey, I'm going to drive the tank forward, the gunner's going to shoot, then I'm going to back away so we're out of range of the tank,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah,
it's interesting.
some you have the I don't know the exact numbers, but some of those tanks have a big crew number to them.
Yeah, so there's the small tanks which both sides have. I don't think the collies have. I don't think it's called a small tank. It's called something else, but it's basically just a small tank. They typically take crews of 3. Medium tanks, which cruiser tanks have different like varieties of how many they can have. Like the base version of the Warden one, which is called a Gallagher Brigand. The Brigands hold 3 players. The Outlaw variant of the Brigand holds 4, Bone Law holds 3, and then the Highwayman holds 3. And then, the tanks go up from there. Battle tanks take 5, and then I don't know how much super heavies take. I don't remember. I think it's 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, and especially in those like tanks of like 5 people, even like 2 people if you have 2 people. It's
Yeah.
important to tell everyone what you're doing because they need to
Yeah,
know.
no. Yeah, you gotta know what you're doing. It's just a lot of organization because you gotta know what you're doing. You don't want to get in the way. You don't want to get your tank screwed over after you spent like 40 minutes trying to get it to the front lines,
Yeah.
and then get instantly blown up. It's a lot about like optimizing what you can do. Do
Mhm.
damage to this, but take as little damage as you can yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, tanking this game is just beautiful. Like, so a lot of the tanks, like it is recommended that you have a full crew. Like the Bone Law, you have to have a full crew because if you don't, you're not going to be able to run it right. But like an Outlaw, which can hold 4 people, people typically run with 2
Oh, okay.
because they don't want to full. They don't want to fill it up. You can. It'll probably run better if it's filled up, but people typically run it with 2. It just really depends what's going on.
Hmm.
Yeah. Naval battles are a bit crazier though, because some of those you need a lot of people to fill them up. Like the gunships take like 5 players. The frigates, the submarines, which are the next step, are like 12 players you need to run it.
Dang.
Frigates, you need about, I think it's around the same number or like around 15. And then I don't know how much you need for battleships, but it is some big ass number.
That's crazy. I didn't know where you get that many people.
Most of them don't. Like, even the bigger regiments just don't have, like, even enough activity for that. So a lot of the times they'll say, hey, we need randoms or vets that know what they're doing. I don't know. This game's just, super cool. I think the biggest problem they have is probably with alt accounts, which is really sad. Because alt accounts, like, they can ruin the game. Like, the goal, you make an alt account, you hop on the enemy side, and then, you go screw this up, or you go mess this up, or you do this, Or, you take ammo out of the relic and then dump it in the ocean or something.
Yeah.
Or, even friendly fire or something. It's
just annoying.
It's really bad. Yeah, they put as many countermeasures as they can, which is good. But there's only so many you can do, and they don't want to IP block because that can get real annoying for people, for even just basic players. So that's why they do a lot of things. Like, they make taking stuff out very slow, taking stuff out of seaport super slow, or, you do friendly fire, you kill like 3 or 4 people within like 20 minutes, and your weapon's banned for like 20 minutes. It's not like actual banning, you just can't shoot a weapon or drive vehicles for 20 minutes.
Yeah. We'll move into, I don't know how much more, I guess, like, I've had the infantry experience.
Yeah.
I feel like infantry's pretty simple. I mean, you get your gun, you go in, you kill as many as you can. I mean, there's different sides of infantry. I just kind of know the basic and medic. I don't know if there's any others at the moment, but...
Well, there's different outfits you can get for different things. It really depends what you're trying to do on the front lines.
Yeah. Yeah, other than infantry, you talked a bit about naval. I don't know, how much of the war does naval affect necessarily?
Okay, that's actually a good question. So on the very sides of the map, there are 3 hexes on each side that are considered naval hexes. They might look like they connect the mainland, but there are no roads that connect to the mainland. So there's like islands, so everything on those has to be shipped through a boat or something for logistics. So those are what we call naval hexes, and then that's where most naval battles will occur.
Okay.
So Wardens, the side I'm on, we typically have insane naval domination the entire war. Typically. It's just because of our regiments, and we just typically can overpower the Colonials' navy pretty much no matter what. I haven't done much naval stuff myself. Like I've said, I've run a few gunboats, and the only thing I know about gunboats are they are a little bit weaker than they seem they would be. Like, I'm not even kidding you, 2 120 artillery shells can kill you if they land on your boat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they're pretty much made out of paper mache, but they're good for whatever they need to be used for, really.
Okay.
Yeah, so as like the naval battles, digress, and we pretty much have every naval hex, the ships will start moving through the rivers, which are big enough for most ships to fit through. Well, every ship to fit through. So, but it's risky to do that because if they're not careful, they can get surrounded on both sides by tanks. And then, you're stuck in a river getting shot from both sides by tanks. Even though if there's like 4 or 5 tanks, the destroyer, if it's one of the bigger ships like a battleship, you'd probably be able to win and destroy all the tanks.
Yeah.
If you have a decent crew. But, you're going to take damage. And you can't repair them like you can repair tanks on the field. You have to take them back to a dry dock to repair them.
Oh, okay. So that gives a little more risk with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think next war, I'm in a coalition of some people. They're this really cool regiment, but they do some naval stuff. And I think they're going to try and get a submarine next war. So I'm going to try and get on that and do some submarine stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's hopefully going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
All right.
Yeah. So the regiment I'm in, we do a lot of artillery. We don't typically do shelled artillery. We don't do like 120 or 150 artillery. We typically do rocket artillery because rocket artillery is just peak. Because you haven't heard 5 skycallers being fired at once.
Is that the, like...
Which is...
hissing thing? Not the hissing. It's like that terrifying sound.
The whistling sound.
Yeah. That thing's scary.
Yeah, and that's just one firing. We had 5, Tucker.
Dang.
Or no. It was 8. We had 8 that time in War 117 when we fired them onto the treasury. Dude, it sounded so beautiful. It's just... it's a terrible sound, but
it's terrifying.
Yeah, we tier 4 fired a bunch of their defenses, which is great. Loved it so much.
Awesome.
Yeah, we didn't do much rocket arty this war. The activity my regiment had this war just isn't great. Like, it felt like almost like a break war.
Yeah.
Along with most of our coalition that we're in of regiments, most of them had a break war.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta take it every now and then.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fast war, too. Or faster. So.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Longest war in Foxhole was War 95, which was August 11th, 2022. It lasted 42 days.
Oh. And what war are we in now? I guess moving into.
We're moving into War 122.
Oh, okay.
War 117 is when I started and was the second longest war. And in fact, War 117, the war I started, was the deadliest war. It had the most player deaths, which was somewhere around 8 million.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, this war we just had was 1.5 million.
Yeah, that's a hell of a difference.
Sure. Yeah. Big ass difference, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we've talked a lot about, like, the on the front line side of things.
Yeah.
We want to talk about Logi a bit, and I guess what they do.
I can talk about some more logistics. So, the very basic premise of Logi is grab a Logi truck, go to a salvage mine or field, grab some salvage, fill your truck up, drive it to a refiner, refine it, takes like 5 minutes. Then you got BMATs. BMATs are the essence of Foxhole. BMATs are the essence of everything. Everything from bunker bases are built using BMATs to basic logistic vehicles are made using BMATs. And guns, some ammo, like pretty much everything in this game is stemmed off of BMATs or salvage. And then, you got this other stuff you can build off of it. Like if you turn BMATs, you can turn them into explosive powder. Or not BMATs, you can turn salvage into explosive powder. And then, you get some BMATs, explosive powder, you head to a factory. You can even make, a few shells. But typically you want to wait. You want to let the regiments do that because you can build factories in this game, facilities. Most regiments will have like some big facility or something like we have. And then you can make pretty much whatever you want there in bigger capacity. So like we make a bunch of artillery shells. So, we'll be pumping out 120 shells, pallets of them, like maybe 10 pallets a day, which is over some odd 1,000 shells, which is a lot because every individual shell you'll grab by pressing a button, load it into an artillery, and then you'll load it again, and So it's really cool how logistics works and how you have to build everything, basically. So to make tanks and stuff, you would need to get RMATs, which are refined materials. BMATs are called basic materials. Everyone just calls them BMATs, and same with RMATs being RMATs. RMATs are grinded from comps, which you can also find them in a field or mine. They're just a little more rare and harder to get. So you grab a bunch of those and you shove them in a refiner, you get some RMATs, then you take them to a garage and you make yourself a tank. If they're teched in that war yet, which they might not be. But, you make a tank, you're like, okay, let's say you make a Devitt. You'll have a base Devitt, which is the light tank. And you'll be like, cool, I love this. I want to turn this into one of the variants of the Devitt, which are the Ironhide and the Mortar Devitt. Mortar Devitt just has a mortar on it, and the Ironhide makes it a lot more armored, so it's a lot more durable. So you can take your Ironhide or your Devitt down to your facility if you have one, or a facility if someone has a public tank pad. You put it on a tank pad, and then you go, okay, now all these materials that are made in like the factory, like assembly material 1s, and like let's say you have to put assembly material 2s in there. And then, you put some construction materials in there, then you press a button. And it'll take like 10 or so minutes to turn your tank into a Devitt Ironhide. And then boom, you have this tank. Cool. You did some facility stuff. It's simple but also very complicated at the same time.
Yeah, it kind of seems like one of those things where like it's complicated the first few times you do it. Then you get in kind of a routine.
Yeah, you get to know what you're doing, but a lot of the stuff gets harder to make down the lines, like battleships. You say, well, to win the war, why don't you just pump out like 20 of them, or as many as you can? It's not that simple. To like make a battleship, if you had 5 people, it would probably take you 2 weeks maybe of grinding, maybe a week and a half if you all played like about 7 or 8 hours a day to make a battleship, to get all the materials you need for it and everything you need for it and all this stuff, and combining this together. And yeah, none of it's easy to make.
That is kind of crazy.
Tanks aren't too bad. Like, I did some grinding myself this war, and I made a mass production facility, or mass production factory queue of tanks. So I made 15. That wasn't bad, but none of them were the special upgraded variant. I had to turn some of those into them myself. But, it's pretty neat. Pretty snazzy, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. We've also mentioned, if you don't have much more on, I guess, Logi, we've also kind of mentioned the tech tree, which I still don't understand the tech tree much.
Yeah, so, it's kind of confusing, but
yeah,
basically you get in and there's this tech tree. So if you go around to the salvage fields, unlike every other field, there's a chance it'll drop a random item. Or not a random item, we'll have like a sub-item there. So it could drop copper alloy, rare materials, or aluminum. So if you get aluminum and copper together, I think, actually, no, don't count me on that. I don't know. I haven't done tech stuff yet. But some of that stuff you can turn in a refiner into these little materials. Then you can take those to a research center and you can submit them to that. And then you'll update the tech progress on a certain item, whatever the next one is. So like the first one is probably armored cars and some tripod weapons. And then, the next one could be some other stuff. It could be, I know there's one really stupid tech that is literally just a bus. Which is stupid.
Yeah.
But it's just, whatever you tech. And then so you put it in there, and then, you'll see a little progress bar. And just one person, you're not going to be able to tech everything in 5 minutes. There's no way. Considering, like, after the war we just had, which is a little longer than 20 days, that we had to, that the tech just got done being fully researched after 20 days. Yeah. So it's going to take a while for everything you want to be teched. Yeah. That's why early war is really slow, and a lot of people don't like to be there for it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't. So obviously, I've only played a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more. I guess like how many more sides or like other small things people do. I don't really know too much on that part.
Well, it's just really, like, there's a lot of like things that people like to say, okay, I like this, I'm gonna do specifically this. Like, there's people that'll go around and all they want to do is build bunker bases. So they'll build bunker bases, they'll build defenses, they'll try and get AI up on it. They'll set up all this stuff for it, barbed wire, lay out trenches and stuff like that. Or, you can be a player that likes to specialize in like mechanized infantry. You grab a half track and you get a bunch of players on the back of it and you go trench storming. Or let's say you like just running gunboats and shelling some beaches, helping the front lines. Or, you like being a quick response force, so you wait around in a tank, wait for a map post that says QRF, and then you quickly head down there and try and figure out what's going on and help the situation. Yeah. So there are some players that do that, which is cool. Or even if you like partisaning, which is where you get partisan uniform, it makes you not be able to always be detected on intel. You go into the enemy backlines, you wait for Logi trucks to drive by, and you shoot the hell out of them. Disable their truck and shoot them to death.
Okay.
I hate partisans because for some reason, they always meet me. It sucks. I have to die a tragic death.
Yeah. I mean, with kind of what you're saying about one of them, some people do really like building the bunker things in AI. Like they build an insane amount of them.
Oh my god.
Like in the last
And
one,
then
there's just a long line of them.
I know. God, my coalition has some dudes, I don't know, they like building defenses, and they said, well, we're building more of a frontline facility this war. So let's make sure we're defended. And then they go in half the hex and build a massive fucking defense line.
Yeah.
So our facility didn't get much use this war because we're all, spending all this time trying to MSUP it. MSUPs, let me quickly. So you know how, like, if you're playing Rust, your base will start to slowly decay if you don't have resources in there?
Yeah.
The same thing will happen in this game if you don't put MSUPs, which MSUPs are made from BMATs, if you don't put MSUPs in bunker bases or maintenance tunnels.
Okay, so it just kind of decays them if there's not stuff in there.
Yeah. Basically, the health will slowly decay, and you don't want that, You don't want to be on the front lines, and then the enemies say, holy shit, these guys their things are decaying. They're like at 50 HP, let's just destroy them.
Yeah.
Not good. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what else there is to
Yeah,
I don't have too many questions myself. I've played a little bit of it.
No, you've kept me talking, which is good. I was trying to think of stuff to say
No, yeah.
as well.
I'm trying to, just try to hit every side of things. But yeah,
Ooh.
update.
Update,
Yeah,
yes.
that's what it was.
This summer, supposedly, there's going to be a big update. It's going to be the airborne update. So they're going to do some kind of planes. I know I don't understand how it's going to work because this game has an isometric view. Think of it like top down, but at an angle top down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a pretty good way of saying it. Yeah.
It works.
It's not like a super far
of
away top down, but it's like a longer third person almost.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like the isometric view, which is why I feel like a lot of people don't play it because they're not used to it. That's
kind of
like
my thing. Yeah, I don't like it at all, but it doesn't like I don't like hate it, but I don't like it as much.
Yeah, but I just think if people try it some more, you'll get more and more used to it, which is what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I'm not gonna force people to play the game. They should, but they're homies. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean,
it's okay.
I'm pretty excited to see what they do for that though, because you were telling me about it. They don't have anything where it's like, you just pick a spot on the map and they go there and do stuff. It's like every player operates everything. Or not every player.
Yeah, there is AI in this game, but it is very, very limited. By that, I mean you're not going to see physical AI. Basically, if you build like little bunker defenses, like if you build, some bunker defenses and then you have like some garrisoned guns on the like bunker defenses, you'll see like the guns sticking out. If they have AI, basically if the enemies get close enough, it's going to shoot at them. It's never going to leave the bunker. It's never going to do anything else other than shoot at them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that does. There's different versions of AI. Like there's Howie's howitzers that like if you're shooting artillery at them, they'll return fire. Very accurately, insanely accurately, but yeah, they'll return fire.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, there's not much, which I do like. I do like that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, again with how it's like everything's player made. It's really nice because you can see how people make stuff. People make it their own way, or
Yeah, so there's even this really cool Logi hex I like. It's an Endless Shores where I was running a bunch of Logi at. They are very serious. So there's 2 bridges in the town.
Mm-hmm.
And you always have to cross the bridge to the right of you, because if you cross the bridge on the left and you run into somebody, you're gonna get yelled at. You're gonna get screamed at.
Yeah.
Not nice. They get so very serious about that. Didn't they even have like road signs in the middle to be like, like the white paint in the middle of the road?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I love it.
Yeah, back to the
I don't know
update thing. I think it'll be pretty cool to see that. I'm curious what the players will see while doing that. Because that's gonna be interesting. Or if it's like kind of like like the ships and stuff where they get a lot of people that are needed for it. Like I'm curious how big they will go.
Yeah.
With air.
I don't know. I think they're gonna expand the map a bit. Honestly, I think they're gonna add a few more hexes, which is what I'm excited for. Yeah, one of the things that people are thinking they're gonna do that I've seen be talked about in World Chat is they think they're gonna add anti-air vehicles, like the update before the big update in the summer, because there's typically 3 updates a war, 2 smaller ones which might add 1 or 2 vehicles, or some other thing, and then there'll be the one big update a year.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
That's gonna be cool though.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Yeah, the last few big updates. Well, there's this airborne one, which is gonna be 2025, obviously summer. And then the big update last war was the infantry update. They didn't add a whole lot. They reworked a bunch of infantry stuff and how it works, and like 2 new tanks or whatever. The year before that, 2022, that was the naval update. Then I'm not sure what the updates before that were, but
Yeah.
Exciting. Game's fun.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think there's a whole lot left. I'm gonna say though, speak. Me speak.
Yeah.
Oh,
speak.
Join the warden side because the wardens are cool and colonials are stinky. All I can say.
All right. Well.
Nobody likes the goblins.
Yeah, you don't want to be one of those people.
Oof. God, imagine fighting on the wrong side of the war.
Yeah, couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me. Yeah, right. Well,
we'll move into review stuff. Or?
Review time.
I guess I could start with mine because you kind of have the big review part.
Yeah.
So I think I like this game. It's a very cool game. I'm a big fan of like Hell Let Loose. I really like that organized style of stuff, even though Hell Let Loose is a lot less organized. If you kind of like have never played a game like this, I think this one would be a cool one to try out. Not a lot of games do this, like have like that server wide like war kind of thing. Yeah. The only other game I can think of is Helldivers 1, but that's kind of one-sided in a way.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very unique game to see. I really like the organization in it. It's really cool. And by what I understand, the hexes are random every time, or not random, but somewhat random.
No,
they change.
Yeah, somewhat random who gets them at the start of the war. Yeah, the starting conditions.
So it's not like oh, if we just go here every war, this is an easy weak point on the map. It's not like that.
And they change every single war where the mines and fields are.
Oh.
So you can't take the same place again.
That's cool.
Yeah, they even change where the big buildings are. Like each side will only have a certain amount of garages or something, or mass production facilities.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead.
But yeah, I think that was a really cool part. As you said, I'm not a fan of the top-down kind of view. I much prefer first person in general rather than like third person or that. But that's just a small thing. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my main comments on it.
All right. And then the plan was, right, to whoever has played the game on these solo reviews, we just do the review, then
I think we
times it by do the review, then times their score by 2. Isn't that what we said?
Yeah, just add it twice. Essentially. That was what we said.
I do think the isometric view is not for everything, but I think this game is an amazing example of what a great MMO can be, and how fun something can be There's just, there's the few issues with it, which I love almost every single thing about this game, from the player base to the way combat works. The two issues are, not everybody's going to like the isometric view. I agree with that. I didn't like it at first. And then the difficultness on new players.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're a new player, you know nothing about this game, you don't have a friend that plays this game, you don't, know everything about this game, you've barely even watched a few videos, you're going to be pretty lost if you're trying to get to more of the organized gameplay, which is what sucks. But it's there if you look for it. Like, if you look for it, you're going to find it. Like, just say in world chat or something, or even region chat, just go, hey, I'm new, I need some help, or I want to know how to do this, can someone teach me? I can almost guarantee you somebody's going to teach you no matter what. Like that I can almost guarantee. But the review I'm going to give this game, which I'm going to give it a 4.7.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, I love the game. I think it's great, but obviously it's not the perfect game.
Yeah. For
me, it's one of my favorite games right now. Favorite game I've played over 2024, and favorite game I've been playing in 2025 as well. But it's not, not the best game. It's got a few issues. Got some stuff wrong with it. But that is a 4.7, which will bring it to a 9.4.
Okay. All right. 9.4?
Yeah, it'll bring 9.4 on Foxhole. Which I think is a good review. Okay. I love Foxhole.
Yeah? All right.
Big game.
I don't have much else to say. I don't have anything podcast-wise, whatnot.
Yeah, I don't think anything different in this podcast. Next episode's going to be Liza P. Yep. Tucker will be doing that.
That's my solo one.
Your solo one. After that, we'll do Cyberpunk. And then I'm not quite sure what our plans are after that. I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out by next episode.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Close it out.
Well, I'm going to close it out. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.